Teen Sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
In 3, 2, 1, you're live.
Welcome to Teen Sports Radio, where we bring the tips, the tools, the truths for today's teen athletes. We have a huge show today. Number one, all hands on deck. Namita is back. How you doing, Namita?
Well, hi. Such a pleasure to be back. It's been a while.
Nice. And you brought, I tell you, what a week I've had with your friend, Barbara Dew, famous international cinematographer, photographer. She's done it all. She's actually really helped me out of a jam. Thank you for the introduction. Barbara, thank you for being here today. We're going to do a little interview with you during our introduction. I'm really excited about that. And we also have today Don Sanders. We've got Christine Marie, Dominique Hackett, Alex Ramirez, our producer, Richard Dugan. How y'all doing today?
Good. Great.
Everyone's doing good. I like that. It's you know what I like to do before we even, Barbara, talk to you. All right, this way I want to just prove to you nobody knows you. But we have an intuitive counselor in the house, Christine Marie. She's Miss Magic. That's what I call her on the side. Nobody knows, but that's my little nickname to her. So she's going to pull a card for you. Okay?
Oh.
All right. So,
okay. So, Barbara, just tell me when to stop shuffling.
Sure. Stop.
Okay. And do you want me to pick from the top, the bottom, or the middle?
Middle.
Okay. Do you want the top of the bottom or the bottom of the top?
Bottom of the top.
Bottom of the top. Okay. So the card that we have it's the Three of Cups. I don't know if you know much tarot, but the Three of Cups it's feminine energy celebrating. How do I say it? I don't know if you can see it. I'm having a hard time showing, but it's three women holding a cup. Like holding cups together, like cheersing each other. These cards are kind of there. I think I had it there.
They're magically transparent.
They're magically transparent. So really it's a card of feminine celebration and energy and abundance. The Three of Cups is emotional energy. And so it really indicates that there's a lot of celebration and feminine energy and feminine support for you right now in your life and with whatever, all the things that are going on. So it's really a lovely card.
Yeah, well, it really fits perfectly because Nimita introduced me to Erica, and here I am. We are the three women in connection to that show. So thank you so much. And I really been like in the past very much in my masculine, and I'm embracing my feminine the past few years, and it's beautiful.
Nice. Nice.
It fits perfectly. Thank you so much.
Yay. So glad.
Yay. All right. So what we want to do, we have some questions, just a few, I'm not going to beat you over the head or anything because I want you to stay. I want you to be part of this program forever and ever. Don Sanders, why don't you ask a question?
I was going to ask you not only just your initial inspiration for doing photography and film, but as you progressed, what are some things that have sometimes been obstacles, and just briefly how did you deal with that, and how did you push through them, or get to the other side of them to get to where you are now?
So I've been lucky enough since very young to know exactly what I wanted to do in life, which was art director in advertising first, then photographer and filmmaker. So I had the chance to know this from very early on, and I always stick to it. And I've been lucky enough to have parents who told me to always do what I love. So even so that there is time where for example, I had a cancer at some time. So I had to put my creativity was really in the low because I had no energy for me to love. Because I was very much into healing. So what keeps me through is like keep taking care of myself and my body and really going back to love myself and love others. And this is what keeps me going because art is very much about connection and love. and you really need to take care of yourself to keep going.
It's beautiful. Alex, you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Barbara. I'm Alex.
Hi.
Real quick, what kind of advice would you give a young teen starting off in photography or even cinematography? Advice would you give them getting started?
Great question, Alex. I knew I'd hit it right between the eyes with the kids.
So I would really challenge the teen to really look at what's important for them in this time of their life, the kind of challenge and this kind of thing that are scaring them, maybe to challenge themselves, and to take any kind of camera, and doesn't matter which gear you have, and to just go outside and shoot. Doesn't matter if you have a particular project or not, and to kind of build a routine. At some point when I was younger, I was like doing one picture a day that I was sharing on social media. So it's like a small step that doesn't seem to be big when you do it, and you always want to do the big job or the big gig and contact, but it's really creates an intimacy with your practice.
Beautiful.
And would you recommend maybe starting with their phone and then progressing to a camera?
Whatever they have in their hand. Don't spend money on like big camera, like whatever you have right now, it will do. I have absolutely no interest with my gears. I just pick whatever I have and I go for it.
Oh, I love that.
Christine, you want to share?
Yeah. So Barbara, you spoke about, that when you were sick with the cancer, you didn't have any, your energy was all inside, and then and you didn't have any love to kind of go outside with it. Are there any certain times or pictures or, that you love most? It's like, is there, do you have a favorite picture or a favorite, does that make sense? It's like, I guess yeah.
Yeah. So actually, it's only since last year that I can answer this question, because I did actually my first feature film that I've accomplished last year. It took me 7 years to finish, and obviously the cancer slowed down the process. And this film, it's called The Heart of France in 80 Days. I drew a geographic heart with my van. I was living in a van at that time in Europe. And I went back to France because, again, like I was saying earlier, I was looking at what would challenge me the most in that time in my life. And I could connect easily with people all over the world when I was traveling, but it was difficult for me to travel to connect with friends and where I'm coming from and with my family. So I decided to draw a geographic heart with the van and interview strangers and ask them questions about what's love, what's freedom, what's your relationship to your parents, to death. So it's a series of deep conversation with people. And this is my most beautiful and meaningful work for myself.
That's so beautiful. It sounds to me as though your heart is really in your work, and you're doing your work because it's what you love, not because it's what you think you should do, but it's this passion that comes from you. That's so wonderful.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Super. This is great. Well, Dominique.
Yes.
You don't have a question?
I was going to share with you and Barbara what our other guests are going to be up to, too.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, do it.
Well, we've got Emily, who's going to talk about the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell. And we have Sky, who's going to talk about leveling up mind-body success. He does some really creative things because he's a chiropractic student. And then Ryan has this incredible hockey story. He's such a great storyteller. But he's going to share a story about a game that he didn't win, but he had a phenomenal experience anyway, and it's one of his favorite games.
Beautiful. And then Don Sanders, Hooga, what's your theme going to be about?
It's going to be is the importance of the process, even over the result.
Nice.
Yes, the process. I love it.
Well, Barbara Dew, let me have some contact information because I think people want to get to know you here in Santa Barbara better. How can we get a hold of you?
You can go on my website. It's barbaradou.com. Dew, it's spelled D-O-U-X. It means soft in French. So if you don't remember, you can look it up.
Nice.
And there is also this festival I'm part of. It's Illuminate Film Festival. And there is my film there that is going to be shown. And
beautiful. So check out that film. Like. Okay. All right. Time to fill up your coffee. We're going to be back with a lot more after these messages.
DJ Torrance on the mix.
Burning in your eyes. You look at me, babe, I wanna catch on fire. Buried in my soul, California gold. You found the light in me that I couldn't hide.
I'm Carolyn from Something Good Organics at John Givens Farm. Are you concerned about food safety? Our organic farming methods prioritize your health and our planet's sustainability over big agribusiness. Support local, sustainable farming and join our CSA, Community Supported Agriculture Program, today at somethinggoodorganics.com. Experience unmatched quality and the freedom to choose what you eat. Join us in reclaiming food sovereignty and revolutionizing food production. Sign up for your veggie box and be part of the movement towards a healthier, sustainable future. Visit somethinggoodorganics.com. Somethinggoodorganics.com. Thanks to Teen Sports Radio and sbwellness.org for their support of our national food freedom movement.
Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back, Teen Sports Radio fans and listeners. I am Ryan Quirk, former hockey player, now turned psychology student and author. And today I want to talk to you guys about something that might seem a little bit funny on a teen sports radio show, but it's actually about the art of losing and how maybe the best hockey game I ever played was a game that I lost in the playoffs. And so this was my senior year of high school. I was the captain of my high school hockey team. I had the most amazing, fun season ever. And we were going into the playoffs on a 9-game winning streak. We were the clear favorites to win against this underdog team. It was the first round. We had a ton of fans in the crowd. And I remember I just felt so calm before the game. There was no kind of nervousness, anything. I just felt so ready. And I kind of made up in my mind that no matter what happened, win or loss, because it could have very well been my last high school game, that I was just going to play my absolute best. I was going to be the best captain I could be to my teammates and just play my absolute best regardless of what happened. And so before the game, I'm mentally focusing up, I'm visualizing, I'm calming down, I'm talking to my teammates, and we go out there, and within the first 3 minutes of warmups, I realized that my skate blades are completely dull. And I'd given them to my teammate Mitch, another captain on the team, to sharpen them because he has a sharpener at his house, and they were completely dull. And there was a little part of my mind, that little chatterbox part of the mind that came up and was wanted to just scream at Mitch, playoffs, we got playoffs right now. How could you forget to sharpen my skates? But something deeper came over me, and I think it's something that happens to athletes in big moments where there was just calmness. I was like, okay, my skates are dull. I'm probably going to miss the first period of this game, but I need to get them sharpened because I literally could not skate on them. And so I took off my skates. I told my coach. My coach looked furious, but I was like, Coach, we don't got the time right now. Like, we need to focus the guys up. There's a playoff game. I'm just telling you, for whatever reason, I'm not blaming anyone. My skates are dull. I need to get them sharpened. And so I take off my skates. I sit out the first period. I'm waiting for them to get sharpened. I go into the locker room, and it's a tied game. It's 0-0. And so everyone's super nervous. I mean, you know that energy when you walk into a locker room of any sports game, anything where, you can tell that the team is nervous. It's like you can cut the air with a knife. It's just so tense. And so, I kind of go in, I'm looking around the room, and again, despite that nervousness, I felt so good, so calm, but like not calm in a sense where I wasn't trying to win, calm in a sense that I was just completely dialed in. I was just so in the moment. I was so present and so ready to enjoy this final game of mine in my high school career. And so we go back out for the second period, and it was weird. Everyone else was tired, and on the other team they were tired too, but it was almost like getting my skates sharpened was kind of a blessing in disguise because I was full of energy. I had not yet skated. So I touched the ice. I'm playing great, and they score one goal. We go down one, and then we're going into the third period. And I remember a freshman who I'd been driving to the rink the whole time, this kid, Elliot, shout out Elliot if you're listening to this, great kid. He looked over to me, and he was 14 years old, I'm 18. And he looks at me and he goes, dude, I'm so nervous. Like third period, he was our starting defenseman. And I just told him, I don't know what came over me. It shifted from this calmness just to this fire, like that this could be my final period of high school hockey. And I told him, and I was like, I just love this pressure right now. I love it. And I was kind of like the quiet leader. Like I'm not a big like yeller or anything like that. But I remember I screamed at my team going into that third period. I was like, guys, no matter what happens, like we got to bring it right now. And so we go out in the third period. And again, I'm just playing so locked in, so calm. And we were down by one goal. And with maybe 6 minutes left in the third period, we go on the power play. And I get a great pass from my teammate, Danny, and I score. And I remember the whole crowd erupted and was just so happy. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, despite missing the entire first period, something that would throw so many athletes off, I was so proud of myself for maintaining mental focus because it's hard. If you got screaming fans, if you got a coach who's angry, it's so hard to maintain mental focus under pressure in a big game. And I remember the feeling so vividly of going back through, giving all my teammates fist bumps, like throwing my arms up at the fans, seeing all my closest friends and family there cheering me on. And then maybe one of the saddest things happened is with like a minute left in the third period, they scored. So we ended up losing the game to the underdog team. And I remember when I knew I was going to lose, there was 5 seconds left on the clock and I was lining up for a face-off and I knew it was over. Like there was no way we're going to get the puck in. But I was so happy with myself, which is so weird. I see my teammates, they're starting to cry. They know that our season's over, especially the seniors who aren't going to come back. But I remember I learned a valuable lesson in that moment, which is despite the mishap in the first period, despite going on this 9-game winning streak and then letting our fans down the first round of the playoffs, I realized that true satisfaction as an athlete or in any arena of life doesn't just come from winning. It comes from giving your best to whatever you're doing, no matter what the outcome is. And I remember I was so happy. I lined up on that draw. I looked at the guy across from me on the other team, and I said, hey, good luck next round. You guys put up an amazing fight this game. Really good luck. And I was just talking to the ref, and the buzzer sounded, and my teammates are sad, and they're crying, and our season's over. But I remember I was so happy just because it wasn't about winning or losing. I literally gave everything I had. For a little bit of reflection, earlier that season, I had broken my hand, and I had played the entire season through a broken hand. I got the biggest possible hockey glove that I could find. I had to cut a hole in it, and I was literally playing with a cast on my hand the entire season. I was playing with a pulled groin, a cast on my hand, and I still was able to lead my team in scoring, be a captain, be a difference maker out there. And never before had I mentally and physically just completely locked in. I mean, I was waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning, taking cold showers after every practice in freezing cold rinks in Boston, taking more cold showers for recovery. I was eating just like eggs and spinach and like the healthiest food imaginable. And this is just to any athlete out there that, at least from what I've learned from my experience, having been an athlete and still what I consider myself to be as an athlete, which is the satisfaction that you get from your sport or from your craft doesn't just come from winning. It comes from going all in and giving everything that you have to your teammates, to yourself, because then whether you win or lose, you're still going to be satisfied because you knew that you gave absolutely everything. And when that buzzer sounded and we lost that game, I knew I had given absolutely everything. I'd stayed mentally focused. I'd lifted up my teammates. I had played the entire season with literally a broken hand and still led my team in scoring. And I was absolutely satisfied with my effort. And there's been times where I've been on teams that won a big tournament, won a big game, where I knew that I didn't give everything I had, where I knew that I had been slacking off on my diet or lost sleep the night before, or didn't really contribute in the game, or wasn't a leader, or said something bad to a teammate. And those games feel worse, even when you win, than the games that you lose, but you know that you gave everything you had. So
that is so awesome.
Yeah.
That's like
valuable information.
It's a life lesson that is character building. I mean, it's hard to explain to teens exactly what character building really means, but it's the life, for me, it's the life experiences where because of your experience, you are carried in future moments. You have resiliency that other people do not. And that's why we so much encourage teens to participate. If it's not in sports, participate in theater, participate in student government, participate in team activities, because you're learning life skills that you don't learn from a book. And you really have to assimilate it into your bones so that it's available to you in the future. And it will always be available to you. It is something that no one can ever take away from you. So I love this story.
That's a great story. That's a really good story. Where are you on your book, real fast?
Yeah, real fast. We are literally a day or two away from publication. We have everything in the manuscript, everything. We're just waiting on the cover to become the right size. We've had two cover uploads. The cover design is already done. The design is done. The front cover, the back cover, everything is done. We just now need to make it fit the proper size, and then we're publishing.
Okay, so this is, what do you call it? This is a second edition. What is this? The first book you wrote?
So the first book was called An 18-Year-Old's Guide to Self-Mastery. It was like 235 pages. This book is called The Journey of Self-Mastery, and it's the same chapter formatting. It's the same idea, the same chapters, but each chapter's been edited slightly. We added a little bit more at the end. We added 2 new chapters and just kind of polished it. So it's a republished version of the first book, and we're really, really excited about it.
Fantastic. Well, you're gonna keep us, as soon as that's available, as soon as that drops on Amazon, you're gonna let me know, right?
I will.
Woo! In the house, Ryan Quirk. We are always so thankful when you have time to share your story. So thank you, and maybe we get you again next week.
Maybe.
Woo! Wait and see. This is Erica, Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these messages. I got the power.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I am a student at Life Chiropractic College West. And very first off, I want to say, if you have not listened to previous recordings of these, please go and listen to them. Erica, where can we find them?
Well, we're all over the place. We're on. You can catch us every single Tuesday at 9 a.m., 8 o'clock Tuesday night, Saturday, 8 a.m., Sunday at 6 on KZSB AM 1290. Or you can go to Spreaker, or you can go to Apple, you can go to Spotify, you can go to SoundCloud. Just type in Teen Sports Radio.
And everyone can find previously recorded episodes there? Perfect. Okay, cool. Because every single thing we've been talking about for the past, month and a half has all been leading up to one big idea that we're going to talk about today. We've talked about energy states. We've talked about how your nervous system organizes information and the different ways that can do that, called the triad of change. We've talked about the 12 stages of healing, and I want to dig into that a little bit more today. We've talked about so many things, and all of this is just a way of saying, who are you? But a way to remind us and everyone that every single person is unique and having their own unique experience. And if we can learn someone's recipe for how they live their life, then we can truly meet them where they are. And you can learn how you need to be met exactly where you are. So how can we start to flip the script instead of asking what's wrong when we're feeling a health challenge? How can we get away from something's wrong, I need to be fixed, I need to go see a doctor, I need to go see a chiropractor, I need to go do all of these things? How can we get away from that and start moving towards what our goals and what our outcomes are? So I would challenge everybody to sit down, write on a piece of paper 5 outcomes that they want for their life, for their health, for anything, their jobs, their relationships, school, grades, an outcome for an athletic game, whatever it is. Write down what your outcomes are and put your focus on there instead of on what's wrong, and learn where your energy is. We talked about internal versus external. Do you get your energy from the future, or do you get your energy from the past? If you get your energy from the past, start thinking about all the games that you've already won. If you get your energy from the future, think about all the games that you're going to win and be there now. And start to put all of this together into one picture that is you, that is one unique being who's energy rich, who's feeling what it feels like to be in alignment with your goals, to be in alignment with who you are, to know exactly why you're here, and to have that be your primary focus. Because when you do that, everything will start to expand. All of a sudden, there's no more trying, and life starts happening for you. And that's when the magic truly happens. And if you go back and listen to all of these episodes that we've done over the past month and a half to 2 months or so, this is a recipe. This is a formula. This is a formula for the best energy you've ever felt in your entire life, and a way to sustain that for the rest of your life. And it only gets bigger. There's no ceiling on what's possible. So that being said, today I wanted to start digging into the 12 stages of healing. And we've talked about these a little bit, and how with each stage, there's more and more energy available. I want to start talking about stage 1, because we'll go in order, but it's not a linear process. People can be experiencing multiple stages of healing at different times. You may find that you're in a stage that's right in the middle of the 12. You may be stage 6 or stage 5, right? It's not linear. But for the sake of this, we're just going to go in a linear order. Stage 1 is probably my favorite stage. And when I tell you what stage 1 is all about, you may be wondering why. Stage 1 is all about suffering. And suffering doesn't necessarily sound like a good thing. But the fact is, to be a master of suffering, you have to understand that suffering is part of life. Suffering is what catapults us to a next energy level, to a higher energy state that challenges us to go and find more. And the way to do that is not by fighting it, but to recognize suffering is a part of life. It is a part of achieving more. And to be able to recognize that sometimes stuff is rough. Sometimes I'm not happy. Sometimes I lose a game. Yes, sometimes I win, absolutely. But sometimes I'm going to lose. Sometimes school is hard. Sure, sometimes it's easy too, but sometimes it's hard, and that's okay. Sometimes I'm in a state of suffering, and that is okay. And to just be able to be there. The more we avoid things, the more we avoid suffering, the harder it is for us. So I'm going to give you a little exercise to connect with stage 1. And again, that is all about suffering. But to be able to move through suffering, we do need to be able to connect with it. So you're going to start by placing both hands on top of each other. So you have one hand palm down, and then one hand stacked on top of it, directly on top, fingers closed. And you're going to place those 2 stacked hands in what's called position 1. which is just underneath your clavicles. So right at the base of your neck, you're going to feel two little bony bumps, and you're going to place your hands that are stacked on top of each other right underneath it and relax your elbows down to your side. Now you're going to take a deep breath in through your hands. Try not to let your stomach expand. Just let the breath move through your hands. And just notice what that feels like. Is it easy? Is it hard? If it is, just say, no, sometimes things feel hard. Sometimes things are challenging. Or sometimes things are easy, whatever it feels like. Now you're going to drop your hands down to just below your rib cage. So you'll feel your sternum is hard, and then it gets to a point where it's nice and soft. It's kind of in the middle of your torso. So with your hands stacked on top of each other, you're going to try to breathe just through this location. So bring the breath in through your back and right into your hands without moving your lower stomach and without moving your upper chest. Just into your hands, and just notice what that's like. Maybe it feels impossible. Sometimes things feel impossible. Right? Just acknowledging, just being with that feeling sometimes, right? Then taking your stacked hands and bring them just underneath your belly button. So your thumbs on top are just kind of right at the base of your belly button. And then and this is position 3. You're going to take a breath just through your hands, not letting your chest or mid-torso rise or fall, but just letting the breath connect in with that area below the belly button. And just see what that feels like. See if it feels easy, difficult, challenging. And just accept it. Just acknowledge it exactly where it is. And this is what stage 1 is all about. What if you have a broken bone, or what if you have an area of your body that's in pain? Well, that pain is a message. It's trying to tell you something. It's saying, hey, pay attention. Something needs to change now, right? Well, the only way to let the pain be a message that's going to work for you is to align with it and to not try to avoid it. Right? We talked a little bit last week about the pain of avoiding pain, the pain of avoiding suffering, right? This is the easiest way to connect with it, is just to be with the pain. Pay attention to it, because that's what it's asking you for. And this is what stage 1 is about. Once there's more energy in the system, we can start to move to stage 2, where we start to notice polarities and rhythms. And we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Whoa, I love it. That's great. So, in other words, you are going to do 12 episodes.
There you go.
I'm excited. See? You're trapped now. We so appreciate you. How do we get a hold of you, Richard? Sky Ellsworth, because that's your full name.
There you go. You can email me at thrivehivechiropractic@gmail.com.
Great. And I just heard from your dad, because your parents stayed over, and I guess the graduation year is going to be 2026.
That's right.
And I'm Dr. Sky, Dr. Sonia. It's going to be opening up a practice. We're super excited. Thrive Hive Chiropractic coming soon. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more after these messages.
It's my life. It's my life, it's now or never.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hi, teens and families. This is Emily the Songbird with another episode of Teen Tones. There's a gnome in your purse, Auntie Em. What? I said to my 8-year-old nephew, Isaac, who was sitting in the back seat of my car as I was driving back home from Los Alamos, a sweet little country town about an hour north of Santa Barbara. At first, I was confused because my purse was sitting on the driver's seat right beside me, and I didn't know what gnome he was referring to in the moment. Then the memory beamed on me like a shooting star. As I was packing up my place, I decided to give away a tattered turquoise striped purse, and I stuck a wooden gnome in it, complete with a set of paints and a paintbrush. It had been hiding out in my cubby as a Christmas project the apartment complex I lived in dropped at my door. I just thought it might be time to pass it on to the thrift store or our favorite Unity shop here on State Street, the main drag in our town. But alas, I forgot, and the blonde-headed creative kid in the back seat dove into the purse and discovered this magical creature. When I taught high school literature years ago, I remember guiding students about Joseph Campbell's theme, The Hero's Journey. I encouraged them to not only recognize the main steps of the hero's journey, not only in the books we were reading as a class, The Catcher in the Rye, Siddhartha, Night, To Kill a Mockingbird, but to see them in the movies they love to watch, Star Wars, and now it would be movies like Harry Potter and adventures that have heroes in there that go through certain steps on a journey to grow into the full empowered version of who they are. Most importantly was to recognize that each one of these kids had the potential to be the hero of their own lives. One of the key components of this journey is that you have to be willing to leave what is familiar and comfortable and then say yes to the magic of your life. Harry Potter is a more modern example of this. Isaac and I both decided to say yes to the gnome in the purse and see where the adventure would lead us. There is always an initiation of the journey or something that guides you to say yes to the adventure, and it's gonna take courage. On my cousin's side, my nephew's side, this was only the fourth time he had been away for the night from his parents. And for me, it's the first time I've ever had a child stay with me in my place overnight. I know I was a little nervous. What if we don't do it? What if he gets hurt? Or what if he doesn't have any fun? Can you think of a time that you were called out of your comfort zone? Perhaps a big game that you were playing, a new position, or a race you were asked to run? Were you able to rise to the occasion and trust the process? With our gnome, we rambled on down the road. First challenge, to find a slushie, for it was crazy hot on our ride home. And I couldn't figure out the air conditioner, so I kept pumping heat in the poor kid's face. Well, short story, the weekend was amazing. He was a joy to have in my home and in my heart. We swam in the swimming pool. We got a frozen yogurt at the local yogurt land, complete with gummy worms and all sorts of sprinkles. And we did an amazing pancake adventure in the morning. He wanted to make a steak out of pancakes. And so we did that. We ended up giggling and laughing way into the night, telling stories and adventures that were magical and heartfelt. I wanted to tell this story because I really believe in the magic of life. I really believe there's a magical spark in every single one of us. And just yesterday, I felt that magic spark alive again when I was on a hike with a local hiking group that I have joined through the local community college. And I was inspired with a man who, his name is Ed, and he was telling me about these kind acts that he has done. He actually saved a man, a 220-pound man that was going to fall off a cliff while he was hiking, and he grabbed him and he yanked him up, and actually his bicep went completely into his shoulder. He completely messed up his arm by saving this man. Now, I wouldn't highly encourage that in itself. And he also saved a runner who was exhausted, and this was just recently, who had passed out because he passed out through dehydration. And so he helped this runner, nursed him back to health, and got him hydrated, which runners, athletes, remember to hydrate. That's so important. And so it was really wonderful to hear him say that, because I think during this time where there's a lot of conflict and separation and animosity that's going on in our country, and it's also takes place, I remember when I was a teenager, some people just aren't as nice as other people. And so it really inspired me to think about one kind act that I can do every single day. And so my kind act yesterday was I'm moving out of my place. And so I put a desk for sale on Craigslist, and these two college kids came up and they wanted to, actually the desk was for free. They came and wanted to pick up the desk, and they didn't have room enough in their car for it. So my SUV had room for it, and I was able to fit the desk in, and I drove it to their dorm room and dropped it off. And I just did it because it felt like the right thing to do. And a little later, I got a text from the gal, and she said, "Oh, thank you so much for doing that. The desk is in a perfect spot. I love it so much." And so, sometimes we do these kind of acts and we receive thanks. Sometimes, like my friend Ed pulled his bicep completely out of his arm. I mean, he really sacrificed himself. And so sometimes, we do things and they have consequences when we help other people. But I think overall that we just feel better when we are feeling lonely, or we're feeling, isolated, or that our lives don't matter, or that, we don't have things to offer. I think, making an intention, it could be one kind act every day, or it could be a week, or, but when we make that intention, and so, going back to my nephew and the magic that I felt with him, that magic was childlike joy and wonder of just the creative process of being alive. And creativity comes in many different forms. It comes in a story that we write. It comes in a song that we may sing, comes in dancing, it comes in creative ways that we do athletic events, right? Creative formations of things. I mean, creativity is alive and well in all of us. And I think if we combine that with kindness and compassion for our fellow human beings, our fellow team members, that we can really make a difference in this life. And it reminds me of that story about the gal who was throwing, there was a beach full of dying starfish, and she was throwing one starfish in at a time. She just kept tossing him in the water, and a guy walks by and he says, "Why are you doing that? That's not going to make a difference." And she looks at him right in the eyes and she says, "It made a difference for that one. It made a difference for that one." And so I would encourage you to have that first starfish be you. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you hydrating? Are you eating well? Are you getting good sleep? Are you exercising? And then the next starfish be a neighbor, a friend, somebody who needs a helping hand, who you could bring some joy to their life, and just to, wait and see the magic that will bring. This is Emily the Songbird. And I would love to invite you. I have a guitar class going on every Wednesday night, 5:30 to 7:30 at Isla Vista. And I have a new goddess guitar class for women and girls starting on Fridays from 1:30 to 3. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me at eyurchison@gmail.com, or you can check out my website, emilythesongbird.com. I'm wishing you a magical, a musical, and a miraculous day.
Let freedom ring. Let the white dove sing. Let the whole world know that today's the day of a reckoning.
Hello, I'm Dominique Hackett with Santa Barbara Wellness Center. Santa Barbara Wellness Center facilitates health, wellness, educational programs for our Santa Barbara community. Our mission is dedicated to supporting healthy bodies, minds, and hearts through healthy eating and active living, and thereby assist in the prevention of obesity in our community. We scholarship various sports camps and provide an umbrella for local programs. Santa Barbara Wellness Center is a proud sponsor of Teen Sports Radio. We need your help. Please visit and donate today. sbwellness.org.
Let freedom ring. Let the white dove sing.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. him.
For Teen Sports Radio, I'm Don Sanders. Don's Massage in Ojai. Don's Massage Ojai 805-236-2684. And I'm here to bring you a hygge. A hygge is a Scandinavian term for a comfy, cozy feeling like receiving a hug without actually receiving the hug. And I wanted to talk. Everybody's got their different kind of endeavors, the teen athletes, and all the different kind of things. Especially if we work for ourselves, we've had to risk to go out there and do something that speaks to us. And one of my favorite American philosophers, Henry David Thoreau, said, "If one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which they have imagined, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours." And so I see this repeated again and again. I heard it some in Barbara's experience already, and the other co-hosts that have shared that have shared their struggles in life. And so struggles are important because they give us the fortitude and the resilience and the confidence to go for our dreams. I was listening to an interview with LeBron James and Steve Nash, two very famous professional basketball players, and they were talking about loving the process even more than the result of winning a championship. So that is going to be really useful for all you teen athletes. Anytime that you have injuries or you have setbacks and you have to question what you're doing, just remember developing a love for that process. Like I shared last show, all the injuries and things I went through when I was playing one of my 5 sports. And in the end, what I really, really came away with was that I love the process of trying to heal your body and keep it healthy and be able to use it the way you want to use it for as long as possible. So I pretty much live my life that way. I'm in my 6th decade now, so I'm in it for the long haul, trying to exercise right, eat right, get rest, and embrace challenge.
Beautiful, Dominique.
Oh my gosh, I was going to go to Alex. He's in the process right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a collection of all those things. When you're going through the process of getting over an injury, you're paying attention to everything: sleep, nutrition, hydration, your mental well-being, whether that's breath work, journaling, practicing gratitude. It's a collection of everything. Then you have your community and your support system. I'm just grateful for people like you guys always giving me words of encouragement, my family, my friends, clients. I'm loving the process, but I'm excited for the result, which is going to be to get off this boot in a couple of weeks.
Yay!
We always end the show with the many, many blessings of Santa Barbara. And kids, remember this: you just be you, because everybody's taken. See you next week, Santa Barbara.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a pusher with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every